Hi, I'm going to talk about how to use the zoom on your TI-84. Um, Here we have the graph of the exploration. This is graphed out in an application called GeoGebra, um, which runs on tablets. But I just drew this out here so that you guys can see what the whole graph looks like. It's kind of hard to see exactly what the graph looks like on the TI-84 screen because it's so small. So that's why I drew this one out. So first thing is we're going to go to the y equals screen, and you can see that the three equations are entered here just like you did during the exploration. Okay, and then we're going to learn how to use the window screen and the zoom screen, and and we already know how to use graph, right? So first we'll just hit graph to see what comes out. And if you compare this to the full graph, what we're actually seeing is a very small part of the graph, and the part of the graph that we're seeing is this square here. Um, Actually, it's the negative 10. X is negative 10 to x is 10. Y is negative 10 to 10. So it's like this little square here, right there. So this square is being displayed on the TI screen, and you can see that it pretty much matches up. Okay, so there's like two lines going through here, two lines going through here. Okay, so that is what we call the standard zoom screen. And if you look on the window, it'll show that the minimum value of x is negative 10, the maximum value of x is 10, the minimum value of y is negative 10, and the maximum value of y is 10. So that makes sense. It's the exact box that we were talking about. Okay, so we'll go back to the graph. Now the problem with this graph is it doesn't have all the interesting points like we have here. What do I mean by that? Well, the interesting points are the points that are crossing axes, like this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Those are interesting. Another thing that's interesting are points where there's intersections between lines, like this one, and this one. All these interesting points are shown on this GeoGebra graph, but we can't see it on the TI graph. Now, how can we show all these? Well, since we already know what the graph looks like, it's not that hard. We could just go to the window, and then we could adjust all these values. So like instead of negative 10, I would put, like negative 50. Instead of positive 10, I would put like positive 20 for the x max. And for the y min, I would put like negative 10, which was, it's already negative 10. For the y max, I would put about 110 maybe. So those were the values that I would put in if I knew what the graph looked like. But the problem is you normally don't know what the graph looks like. So I'm going to show you how you would get to the same conclusion just by trial and error using the zoom key and the window key. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use a zoom function called zoom fit. And zoom fit kind of does what you would imagine it does. It it tries to fit vertically everything that is between the x limits that you put in. So we put negative 10 to 10 as far as the x limit. So can you imagine what the TI is going to do when you say, okay, everything from negative 10 to 10, I want you to smash it so that it fits in the graph. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to fit everything from here to here in this little screen, and so it's going to smash it vertically. Okay, so I'm going to do zoom fit, and you're going to see that it smashes everything. Okay, so now it's like a flattened version of this. So like this line here at the top is this one here, which we couldn't even see before. Now we can see it. And then these other two lines we continue to see. So now this has a lot of the interesting points that we wanted. It's got the three intersections on the y-axis. It's got two of the three intersections on the x-axis. It has almost all three intersections of lines here. Okay, so how would we fit in the other interesting points, like this point here? How would we get that in? Well, let's just figure out how far are we going over here. We know that it's positive 10, but we can use the cursor to figure that out. Do you see the cursor? It's right there. So I'm going to just like push the cursor out, say, okay, where exactly is the right limit here? And we can see that the right limit is at x equals 10. So we need to move that a little bit over, maybe like x equals 12 or something, right? What about this side? We know that the left side is at x equals negative 10, and that's obviously not far enough because we're not seeing the left side of this. We want to see where this crosses the x-axis here. Okay, so on the x-max, we're going to change it from 10 to about 12. Now x-min, we got to change it to something way smaller than negative 10. So, and the way we do that, we do these adjustments on the window. Okay, so we wanted to make x-min much smaller. So let's try something like negative 50. And then the x-max, we said we were going to change to like 12, right? So 12. Okay, so we changed the window x-min, x-max. And the zoom mode, we're still going to use that smashed mode, which is zoom fit. Okay, to graph. Now we're going to see if all the interesting points fit. And yeah, they do pretty much. Now we have like pretty much, we have the three crosses, the intersections of the x-axis. We have the three intersections of the y-axis. We have three intersections on the lines. Maybe we want to include a little bit more to the right here. So instead of, we had positive 12 for x-max, maybe we'll put in, maybe we'll put like 15 instead, or maybe, I don't know, 20. Let's put 20. It's trial and error, so. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay. Alright, so you see now we have all the interesting points here, just like this one, and you can see that this is just a flattened version of this one, because what happened is this one is like, you can see that it's in scale. It's like the vertically and horizontally, it's, you know, full width and full height, and here they just smashed everything vertically so that everything fits in. Okay, so when you want to zoom, you're going to use a combination of window, and you're going to adjust x-min, x-max principally. Okay, y-min, y-max you don't really need to adjust, because y-min, y-max you can just use the zoom fit. Okay, and if you use zoom fit, then it automatically adjusts the y. Okay, the only other thing you might do once in a while is to do zoom standard to go back to the original graph. Zoom standard just makes that box at negative 10 to 10. Oops, sorry about that again. And negative 10 to 10 on the y-axis. Okay? So that's how you use zoom.